Oh my goodness, I just finished recording the episode and I'm telling you, my loves, you are in for a treat today. I just finished interviewing and you're about to hear this episode with Marla Mattenson. Marla is a internationally recognized expert in the area of partnership and intimacy in business. She works with thought leaders, she works with millionaires, she works with NBA players, she works with award-winning actors and actresses, and you name it, she has had experience working with the top of the top in really pulling back the layers of the onion, exposing hidden patterns and ways of being to fully unlock people's potentials, their passion, their joy. And she does it in this most lioness way. If you can, go and watch the video format of this, because she came on in her leopard printed top and full, she lives in Santa Barbara, but she looked like she was from Texas with her hair. And I was just like, oh, girlfriend, yes. Yes, I really feel so honored to have her on here. She is a powerhouse. And, you know, we went there. We went there. She teaches on how unconscious anger and unconscious rage is such an area of complete power. It is a power source for us women to unlock and to be willing to go there and be willing to see it and feel it and work with it so that we can feel the full range and the full expression of the truth of who we are. We talk about current events. We talk about why you should be angry today, why the collective consciousness is playing out the hidden rage and unconsciousness that's actually living in our individual beings. We go there, we talk about darkness, we talk about light, we talk about matrices, we talk about intimacy, we talk about how to experience more pleasure in your life. You guys are going to love this. I ask you, if you enjoy this, would you be so kind to snapshot us, share on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you are, tag me and Marla. She can be found at The Intimacy Expert. So it's at The Intimacy Experts. Enjoy this. Feel the vibration in which this conversation happened and know that you are tapped in, tuned in, turned on, and it is all meant for you. I love you. Hi friends, it's Heidi Stevens here. Welcome to Drop Into the Vortex, where conversations about up-leveling your frequency, reaching your next level, feeling alive, and manifesting with more ease are happening. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a serial entrepreneur, I am a spiritual teacher and leader, and I am here juggling all the hats right along with you, creating our next level life and showing you how to do it on the way. Welcome, let's go.
Since I've seen a lot of what you do and what you talk about and how you talk about it, you know, there's so much going on in the world, and many people feel like a victim to what's happening in the world because it's so almost unbelievable, really, what's happening. And if we get stuck in that loop of not being able to believe what's happening, then that shoves us into that victim mentality. And actually, there's quite a bit we can be doing about what's happening in the world, in our own universe, in our inner world, and in our home life that we can be doing to be impacting what's actually happening in the world and start to transform it.
I love that you are just coming in hot, and not only with what you're speaking, but also how you look. Can we just take a minute right now to, if you happen to be listening to this on Apple, you need to go and see the video, because Marla is stunning. You are like a lioness, just ready to roar right now. And you just came forward with realness. We have so much that we can talk about, and let's start here. I mean, this is beautiful. We'll get an intro, we'll do all the things, but this is what is happening. People are overwhelmed. People are exhausted. I feel myself at times fully getting caught in the loop of disbelief and the insanity. And let's just open it up there. You ended with there's actually quite a lot that people can be doing.
Yeah. So first of all, one thing they can be doing is listening to your podcast and following you on social media, because you're really speaking the truth. You're really talking about the things that are under the surface of the real issues. And so following people like Heidi, following people like me and Julian, who are really talking about and not in a polarizing way where you feel like you have to take sides against these big issues. It's beyond duality. It's anybody who's talking as us versus them is still in that field of duality. And that field of duality is a win-lose situation. And that's what we're experiencing. We're experiencing win-lose situations. So if we want to move beyond that, then we need to actually be able to pan back and look at the whole, look at the entirety as much as we can. And we can't really see the entirety of everything. However, if we have conversations like this, we can open up to a new way of looking through the out of our eyes and into the world. And our eyes are only one way to view the world. And in fact, our eyes are so limited. Our human eyes are so limited. All of our five senses are so limited. They are, by definition, not the entire experience. Vision is on the spectrum of light. Human spectrum of light is so tiny on the entire spectrum of what's available. Night vision, like so tiny. And yet all of our decisions are based on what we're experiencing through our five senses until you move to other senses and understanding, beyond our five human senses.
I want to know what Marla sees. I want to know when you zoom out, when you go up, when you embrace more of, when you get out of the duality of this or that, through your beautiful lens, your expanded lens. How are you holding in your highest what's happening?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So I see beyond my eyes. And so my vision is like I can feel into humanity as a whole, and I can feel into the earth as a whole, and into the other animals that we share our planet with, and the plant life. And, there's so much we don't see with our eyes. We need a microscope to see it, or we need a telescope to see it, or we need something else to see it. We need an alternate experience, right? A different kind of reality to be able to see the things that are already there. And so what I see is essentially we have a love matrix and a fear matrix. And when I say a matrix, I'm talking about like mathematically, because my background is actually in math and neuroscience.
I saw that.
Okay. So a matrix is has nodes, and each node is an important factor. Okay. And so if you have love at the core between, let's say, two people, and your relationship is based on integrity, your relationship is based on honesty, your relationship is based on we share openly with each other, that is a node. And that node is a power source. Any two people come together and you create a power source right there. You're a power source all by yourself, right? And then we find when we go on our own internal like down, we need to find somebody else to help us remind us we're in the love matrix here. Okay. And so these nodes, when we come together, we're creating one right now. Anyone who's listening to this is going to be experiencing the love matrix. Okay. You get more people like this together all around the earth, and it forms like a fabric that anyone can tap into anytime, because the love matrix is actually beyond time. It's beyond time. So wherever you are on earth, location doesn't matter, time doesn't matter. You can go inside and say, I am connected. I am a part of the matrix of love on this earth in this experience. And you can find inside, like, when have I experienced love? When have I experienced uplift, lightheartedness, buoyancy, etc. And every human has times where we have experienced that. You tap into those experiences and you let those float you up to, the higher vibration of love. And the challenge, of course, is that the fear matrix is always active, always tugging at us. It's showing itself in the news. It's showing itself in, natural disasters. It's showing itself in arguments we have with our partners behind the scenes. It's showing itself in, we grind our teeth and go, and we get frustrated. The fear matrix is alive and well, and so is the love matrix. And so that's why it's always our choice which one we are going to choose. It's really a red pill, blue pill experience of the actual movie, The Matrix, but it's really actually happening here on Earth. The love matrix is here.
And why, just from what you can see, feel, know, why is it so intense right now? Why is the fear matrix almost like upping the ante?
Yeah, we're in a pretty dark time. We are in a dark time, and the dark forces, meaning the forces who are activating fear and perpetuating fear and separateness, those forces are alive and well and are moving, and it's like an avalanche, it's growing in strength. And so because of that, those of us who see beyond that fear and who are not wrapped up in it, can see, oh my gosh, that's happening. And so those of us who have really wonderful lives behind the scenes, it's time for us to rise up and be seen and say, there's another option. You don't have to follow that fear. And you also don't need to be polarized against it. You can actually see it for what it is, which is, it's just the denial of the divine. That's really what it is. It's a denial of what really is possible for us as humans. To live in collaboration, to work in harmony, to help feed each other, to help clothe and shelter each other, to be kind to each other when we're, in a public area or online. We always have a chance to be kind. And when I said in the very beginning here, there's so much we could be doing. One thing is, how kind am I in my own thoughts towards myself? Am I riding myself like, you're not good enough, Marla, get it done. You've got to get more done. Or am I being gentle? Am I being kind and loving? Because it's impossible for any unkind act or any act of aggression to happen in the world without it first happening inside to the person who is experiencing it.
Say that again. That is so important for people to really, really, really get, like really get that it's all manifesting as a hologram from what's inside. So say it again.
Yeah, it's impossible for me to be unkind to anyone else unless I'm also unkind to myself. Impossible. So if I'm going to be unkind to my partner, Julian, not on purpose, I would never do it on purpose. However, I'm human, and so it happens. So when I'm unkind to him, not if, right? Let's live in reality here. I am unkind from time to time. So when it happens, I know, we both know, we have pre-made agreements here. We both know, oh, Marla must be suffering in some way. There must be something going on inside of Marla to be speaking that way, or to have that tone of voice, or to make that kind of a request in that particular way. And so when that happens, and one or both of us has the awareness, then sometimes Julian will say something, he'll say, is it possible that you could be a little more kind to yourself in this moment? And even though it's a technique, it's a strategy, and at first, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, you want to be like,
right?
What about me?
Right, exactly. I've trained myself to be able to receive anything my partner has to share with me, especially if it's about me, because we have an agreement that we're here to grow together on Earth. We're here to grow and impact in a positive way. And so he has permission to do that with me, and I have permission to do that with him. And sometimes he gets burnt in the process, their little extra fire comes out in his direction because I'm not ready to hear that. And yet he'll still say it because he knows eventually I'm going to look inside, and I do. So it's impossible to have any aggression outward, any unkind words outward, unless you're also doing it inward. And there's a way to prove it to yourself if you're unsure if that's true. Let's do it right now. You put your hand on your throat and hum. You feel the vibration of your vocal cords.
Yes.
So before any sound comes out, right at the epicenter is the strongest point. Inside, the vibration of every word that comes out of my mouth is going inside with equal amplitude, equal vibration. Anything unkind is going inside at the same time. And sound comes out through sound waves and vibration. And so I'm sending that vibration in both directions. And that's why it's a kindness when Julian will say to me, hey, babe, is it possible for you to be a little more kind to yourself? He's doing a kindness to me, even though, of course, I don't want to hear it in the moment. Nobody does. Yeah. But I do want to hear it in the moment because I do want to grow beyond that. And I said to him one day, what if I was never unkind to you ever again? And I'm mostly kind. I'm like 95% kind. And he's like, wow, is that possible? Yes, it is. Even our thoughts, and you know this better than most. So you did the vibration test in your throat, you know that. In your thoughts, it's the same thing. If a thought is in your mind, it has a vibration, it has energy, it has motion, and if it's thinking, it's moving, and it sends that vibration out. And now you're emanating that frequency of your thought. If it's a high vibe thought in the love matrix, that is what's going to amplify. And if it's a low vibe thought in the fear matrix, that is what's going to amplify. By the way, when you run at that vibration, that's what you attract to yourself. So it's like, stringing a guitar string, or, blowing on a spider web, the whole thing moves. Not just one little part. We're part of a whole.
I found myself just the other day, I was driving in the car and my daughter, who's 3, was in the back, and she was tired, and it was about 3:00 in the afternoon, and she was just yabbering on, and I was getting annoyed, and I started feeling like, oh, she's so, she's just like, this is getting exhausting. And then I found myself, she actually conked out, and it was one of the, the drive in silence. And I found myself going down this spiral of negative thoughts and feelings of, I'm not a good mom, and I'm not doing enough, and I'm not spending enough time with her, and I'm always on the go. I mean, the level of I was like beating myself up, and I just was like, whoa, like, where is this coming from? Like, this is alive inside of me. And I actually pulled over and found a tree to just pull over on, and I laid myself back, and I just started breathing, and I was like choose higher, like choose kindness, yes. Choose love for myself. And I really want to just bring in another, piece of your work that I know you share about a lot. And it's this unconscious rage, that that we all need to take responsibility for. And you share how that if we're not able to take responsibility for it as an individual, it will come out as a collective. And we are seeing firsthand the micro manifesting as the macro right now in our nation, in our communities, in our schools, in our world. And most people don't want to even talk about this or be willing to look at it inside. It's just too much. It's just
Guess what?
Marla.
Guess what?
To go there?
You know why we do?
Oh, yes.
You know why we do? It's there anyway. It's there anyway. What are you going to do? Wait for 10 years until it grows? You're going to wait till your deathbed and then you're going to look at it? That's not when you want to look at it. See, this is the thing, is that people don't really understand that when we procrastinate and put off taking a look inside, all it does is shove it down deeper and shove it down more and more, and it puts more of our excuses, our reasons, our defenses on top of it and shoves it down. And what do we know about pressure and time, of course, and heat? Not only does it create diamonds, it also creates a lot of other things like a volcanic eruption. And so this is kind of what we're seeing now, because most of us are not available to go spelunking into our unconscious rage as an individual. And with a few exceptions, there are some really phenomenal movements these days where they are looking, they are taking a hard look, and they are allowing the rage to come out in healthy ways. And then there's lots of communities where the unconscious rage is coming out, and it seems like it's a helpful thing. However, those movements are really just more separation of us and them. And of course, whenever we try to put a lid on our own anger, we are adding unintentionally to the collective rage.
All right,
the
so
collective unconscious.
Yeah, I want to unpack this with you, because in my work, when I work with clients, I see a lot of women that don't even know that it's there. Like, it's just not even something that they're willing to, it's not even a willingness. It's just like, no, I'm not angry. Like, I'm not angry. Let's peel back and just support, and maybe even start, Marla, with like what's the benefit? What is, like, why would you, what are you going for by unlocking the rage?
Oh my gosh, this is my favorite question.
Okay, great.
First of all, unlocking the unconscious rage inside of you and the unconscious anger inside, is to understand that it is a power source. Rage and anger are power sources. And when you are not willing to take a look at what's even in there, I mean, it's like having a garage full of dynamite, and you don't want to look to make sure that the dynamite is stacked properly and not near an outlet, or there's no open flame around. Like, you don't want to even look to make sure it's secure. You don't want to even look to see, what actually is in there. Are there people in, like, what's happening in there?
Yes.
What's in that unconscious garage?
Yes.
If you're not even willing to take a look, then you're literally leaving it to life. And this is let me just say explicitly, our view of the world, and when I say our, I mean mine and Julian. Julian and I are business, love, and life and everything partners. And so we have a belief. And the belief is that, if you look at life through a spiritual lens, there's lots of lenses we could look through life at. If we look through life from a spiritual lens, that we're all here for a purpose. And the purpose is to learn, to grow, to become the fully expressed version of yourself. The purpose of life is not to be happy. Happiness is a fleeting human emotion, just like anger and rage. So why are you striving for happiness and running away from rage? Both of them are fleeting human emotions and power sources. And we've been taught that happiness is all the rage. And rage is what you want to go away from. Okay, well, we've got it twisted, because anger as a power source, like, why do you want to even go looking, is you've got a power source working on its own from your family lineage patterns, from what you learned about anger, from what you learned about how to express your anger, how to keep the lid on it, societal pressures, etc. Being a colleague with someone, it's like, why is it that you can be relatively articulate at work when you are, upset about something, but with your partner or your child, or, you just like let it out. Mm-hmm. And part of it is because we feel safer with the people that we love the most. And so we just kind of let it loose and we let it go. And that's a good thing in some ways. It's like, here's the real. And at the same time, this power source is being used inappropriately. And so we teach people how to clear away that energetic debris, what's in the way of why they won't look, why it's so challenging, so that they actually get excited about it. Because if you knew there was an extra power source for you, and it had assertiveness, it had boundary setting, it had clarity of thought, it had the ability to see beyond the current circumstances, that's the power of sublimated anger and rage.
Can I take it one step forward? Because I'm just looking at you fully embodied, just the way that you chose to dress yourself today. I'm so attracted. I'm like, yes, yes. It is intimacy with yourself and others. It is a lioness coming through. It is a force. It is a beast in the best way. It is the mama bear that will look and do whatever she will for her child. It is the goddess. It is the vixen in the bedroom. Like friends, like we are talking about a actual power source to free yourself. All of you listening to this podcast, you say you want freedom, you say you want abundance, you say you want more opportunities, you say you want more joy, you say you want all these things. Listen to what Marla's saying. This rage and this anger is like, it is a part truth that's living inside of you that has to be unveiled for the wholeness of who you are to shine through.
That's right. And if you don't, then you are a muted version of yourself. You are not able to express your displeasure with something in a kind way. You are probably a little ugly and unkind with your expression when someone really pushes you, because you're kind most of the time. But I would venture to say that if you have a hard time expressing anger, you're probably playing more nice than you are kind. And nice is more saying what people want to hear, which is people pleasing. Another word for lying, people pleasing, is a lie, because you're not saying what's really true. And there might be reasons for that. Maybe it's not safe to say those things. And at the same time, when is it? When are you going to say it? At what point? This is one of the biggest issues we deal with is resentment that creeps up under the surface for couples and visionaries. And when that resentment gets big enough, then you'll take a look at it because it's causing a big enough problem. And we say, screw that. Go in before there's a problem. Go in when there's no problem and look and see how do you keep a lid on your own anger? What gets you, what activates your anger? What makes you go, that's bullshit? And by the way, if you're not angry in this world today, then you're probably escaping in some way, because the anger and rage that is happening around our planet is, like I said, it is a fuel source unchecked. It's like the wildfires. And what we want to do is we want to be able to contain it and direct it and use it so that we can intentionally, as a society, say, hey, the school system, it is messed up. I'm on the board of directors of 2 charter schools in Los Angeles, serving underprivileged students, 6th through 12th grade. I consult for them on their sex ed programs and lots of other things. And, how students are being treated, how staff are being treated, how teachers and administrators are being treated in this climate is so challenging. And the system needs to change. How are we going to do that if we're all just pretending everything is fine?
So let's actually, you just said, if you're not angry in today's world, if you're not able to feel that, because I can literally think of 20 friends and 10 it's like there's just like the abundance of women that are like, I don't want to feel that, okay? Or like, I don't feel that, or I just want to choose joy. I just want to choose joy. So say that again. If you don't feel angry, there is part of you that is suppressed, asleep. You fill in the blank.
Yeah, it's the difference between, look, I'm not saying to stay in anger.
Yes,
that's also
we're gonna go there. We're gonna go there.
It's when anger arises, Stop shoving it away. Stop pretending it's not there. You're not in joy 24/7. No human is, not even the Dalai Lama. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It is a human emotion to feel anger and rage. And by the way, their cousins are frustration, irritation, annoyance. You're telling me you never get annoyed? That is just a lie. That is just a lie. Everybody gets annoyed with something because life does not always happen the way we want it to. Joy is our absolute birthright. And when we allow ourselves to really actually feel the anger that's natural that arises, and we're willing to look inside instead of outside, when the anger arises, the first thing we do is, who can I blame for this? So the idea is, when you feel that anger and you feel that frustration and irritation, you go, oh, there is anger. And one thing that we teach and we practice is to de-identify with the feeling, meaning don't make it you. So you don't say, I am angry.
Right.
That's the first step. You can say, I'm angry. And then once you start getting a little observation, a little distance, you can say, there is anger. Mm-hmm. There's a totally different frequency when you go, I'm angry. I'm claiming it for myself. It's now my identity. No, there is anger. Anger is arising. It's a little bit of a distance. So we go, oh, well, now curiosity is allowed to be here. Because if I'm angry, then I'm angry. But if anger has arisen, then I can just be in curiosity and go, well, where do I feel that? Where do I feel that in my body? What's happening inside of me? What thoughts are popping off in my head right now? What emotions are arising for me? So there's always three things to check: your thoughts, your emotions, and your physical body sensations. Are you sweating? Are you, is your jaw tight? Are your shoulders up to your ears? What's happening inside of your own body? Because the easiest thing to do is look out and go, it's his fault, it's her fault, it's their fault.
Is there some part of you that's wanting to disassociate with just starting to scroll, that wants a glass of wine, that picks up a sweet, that wants to just get busy doing something else, right? Like, it's like, okay, beautiful. And then what? Then where do we go with it to move it through, to let it release?
Here's the thing. When you have a practice of going inside like that, when the dark emotions arise, there's nothing to do. It naturally is like a wave. It's like a storm. It comes, it stays for some time. It's quite unpleasant, and then it goes. And if you can stop yourself from having things fly out of your mouth during that time, whatever that window it is, whether the window is 2 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 5 days, like how long do you boil in your anger, right? And how long do you shove it down? Instead of shoving it down, let it be there. Because when you do that, you're going to shorten the amount of time you're in that anger and rage. And it's going to be really intense at the beginning, and it's going to get quickly very light. You're going to be able to feel a lightness where you go, oh, anger. Anger is actually a human emotion. This is natural. There's a reason I'm angry. Even if somebody's telling me that shouldn't be the case, that you shouldn't be angry, please don't should on me. There is anger. I am angry. There is anger. I'm identifying with it right now, and it's there. Like, you can go back and forth until you really have your own language where you go, I can take responsibility for anger arising in me. And when I have the courage to sit with it and be with it and notice how my heart rate increases and my pits get sweaty, and then as I just kind of breathe through it, everything kind of dissipates. And then I go, okay, now, is there anything to do here? Is there any action that I can take? Can I take responsibility for something? Can I actually do the exact opposite of what my brain is telling me to do, which is my brain is telling me to blame, and instead I'm going to embrace, and I'm going to say, you know what? There's anger arising in me, and I don't want to say anything unkind right now, so I'm going to take 10 minutes. I'm going to go for a little walk outside, sit outside for a minute, and when I come back, I'd like to have a conversation about this, and I'm going to do my best to be calm.
Yeah.
You take responsibility.
Yep.
And let's just remember, anger and rage, their cousins are also passion and seduction. And sales is all about being willing to go anywhere a potential client needs to go. So if you can't be with your own anger and rage, you're going to have a hard time selling coaching services, products, anything to other people, especially if you are the one who is, you know, if you're the coach, if you're the mentor, if you're the guide, you're the therapist. It's very challenging to help anybody else break through their material if you don't have your own practice of it, right? You can only guide people as far as you've gone.
So that feels like a really, really beautiful segue. This is so vital and so important. And I'm thinking of, you know, I've personally done a lot of anger work, been willing to go there, been willing to feel. And I'm also just, as you're talking, I'm like, oh, right. Like those parts, my son is so full of energy, right? He's 7 and when you talk about, like the fight, flight, or freeze, like he fights. My son fights. And so it's like I have my boiling point, and it's like I can remain calm, I can remain calm, I can remain calm. And then it's like every once in a while my fight comes out. Um and so I'm just sitting here going, oh, like, thank you, Marla. Like, thank you for just bringing this forward, not only from a global, what's happening on the collective, what's happening in our households, and how we really do have a level of like dominion and autonomy and choice and choice and choice in it. And let's just like, I want to hear, I want to know more. How do you work with people? How do you work with couples? How do you facilitate these transformations, work in your work?
Thank you for asking. By the way, I just want to say something about the children 7 and under. For them to be able to see how their outrageous emotions are impacting their parents, and they're supposed to have outrageous emotions. They haven't learned how to keep a lid on it, how to sit still at the table, how to whatever, right? Name it, get in the car without a fuss, all the things, right? How to put your shoes on with whatever. Okay. That the more that they can see the truth in us as parents, like, hey, you know what? I'm starting to lose the balance of my mind now. And there is anger arising in me now. I'm not going to do that. And this works also with the young ones, where you think they don't really understand. They really do.
They do. Yes.
They really do. I was a doula for 15 years, helping women through labor and delivery and postpartum. And I went through countless trainings. And what happens with very, very young children is they're getting programmed right away, right from the beginning. And so the more that you can just allow them to have their big outbursts and reflect love and boundaries over and over and over, and connect with them first, like, oh, that must be so frustrating. Yeah, you can't quite do that, can you? Like match their energy, and then you bring them on your ride. That's part of the deal. Anyway, how do we work with people? We have a few ways that we work with people. So the number one way currently to work with us is through our Lovers Play course. So we have a home study course for couples. And it is very time sensitive because we love working with entrepreneurs and business owners, busy people. So like all of our techniques are 1 to 5 minutes, and the videos are super short. And so that's a open year-round home study course for couples. It is super delightful.
Ooh, sounds juicy. I think I need to get my hands on that.
You totally do. And then twice a year, once you purchase the course, twice a year, we have an invite-only, application-only community that we run to take everyone through the course. And so once you purchase, you're invited to come back. You're invited to apply. And once you're accepted, then you're invited to come back twice a year. And so we have themes for each time. And the fall theme this year is time bending. So teaching about how we're a victim to time, and what to do about it, what to do different. So we worked through the Lovers Play course together over 7 weeks. And through that, we put a theme in there so couples can have a lot more fun. And here's the cool thing about the course. it's basically a course about how to clear resentment without ever talking about resentment. So we go through some side doors, some back doors, and it's a really fun, playful course, and it goes through foreplay and sex and post play, and but it's the sex education you've never gotten that you always wanted. It's not.
Oh,
It's
this is
not.
juicy.
It's not. It's not all of that. It's just like regular, amazing couples who are like wanting to grow together over a lifetime. And enjoy each other and have more pleasure together and like just smile at each other a whole lot more.
Yes. Kenny and I just want to share, Kenny and I have really been, well, let's actually be clear. I have been intentionally cultivating more of that. So much in our relationship, just in the last like 4 to 6 weeks. I have such a king of a husband who's like kind of always available for it, but never necessarily the one that's going to like, do the work, but always very open. And, he looked at me a couple of months ago and he's like, babe, I really appreciate you like preparing us for an apocalypse and like, doing all the stuff that you're doing right now in this crazy, insane world. And like, is it possible that we could just like enjoy each other a little bit more? And I like really heard it. And at first I was mad. I was angry for him saying like preparing for apocalypse. I'm like, do you know what I've done for our family in the last 12 to 18 months? And then I'm like, he's so right. He's so right. Like open your eyes, Heidi, and see the abundance, see the bliss, see the love, see really what's here. And it gets to be a both and, right? We get to have both. And I have just been choosing into more intimacy. I've been choosing into more joy. I've been choosing into more play in the bedroom. I've been choosing into not having the glass of wine and just going into bed with him and finding our, I just bought some new, just some beautiful silk like jammies. And I'm like, it's just like, we've been married for 8 years. We've got 2 kids, like life, We've got multiple businesses. We've got multiple houses. Like life is full. Life is really, really, really full. And it's almost just like sneaks up on you. It kind of snuck up on me. Like we're just, and then like the pandemic comes and it's just like, we're like in a bit of a rat race here. And let's pause and step back and go, this is about you and me. Like, this is about you and me. And so this is really one of my focuses right now.
Come and join us. You're gonna love this. We teach, how much can you receive, and how to receive, how to open up to receive. Receiving is not all cherries and roses. Receiving means, you received that reflection from your husband so that he was sharing something vulnerable with you and you let it in, even though, like you said, you had that moment of like, what? And then you're like, you know what? Yeah, you're actually right. I am going to do something about that. And so, one thing that I do want to mention in this spot is what happened was your biology got set off first. So he brought that to you and your fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response got activated and you went into fight. What? And you have no control over your biology is going to happen one way or another. The chemicals in your brain are going to drop. It's going to tell you it's unsafe. It's going to tell you he's the enemy. And that's what's going to happen. And so in that short period of time, which can last from, a minute to 20 minutes to longer, depending on if you're looping those ugly thoughts more and more, or if you're trying to come out of it.
Yeah.
That's how long it's going to last. So we teach people how to keep that short. But if you allow the biology to happen and allow those thoughts to pop up in your mind without coming out of your mouth, and you just say, oh man, I just want to bite his head off right now, really, and then even the next step there between, having some kind of a peaceful resolution is you like a narrative bubble. You can just say that out loud. You can speak your thoughts out loud. Hey, I am like really wanting to bite your head off right now for what you just said. I'm not going to, but that's the thought that arose in me right now. And I want to be honest with you that there is anger. It has arisen and it's looking at you. And I am in control of that. So I am going to instead use it as a power source to go, okay, If anger has arisen, there's a reason for it. So it's probably that you're accurate. You're probably correct.
Mhm.
Next time, anyone who's listening to this, next time anger arises in you, especially with your partner, you're probably correct. And if you use that language, you can say probably, because you're not going to want to go all the way to
Right.
you're correct. Okay. Here's the in between, another in between.
Right, yeah.
Right? Another in between is you're not wrong.
Oh.
I said that for a long time until I could say, you know what? You might be correct. You might be correct.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You might be correct.
Might be correct. And
You
then
might
eventually,
be correct. And
you know
damn,
what?
that's uncomfortable.
You're right. And if you can get all the way, as a woman, if you can get all the way to tell your partner, whether you're gay, you're heterosexual, whatever your preference is, it doesn't matter. If you're a woman, because women in particular have been taught that anger is wrong, anger is unfeminine, anger is not an emotion that is going to help you in any way or get you what you want, and that is a fucking lie. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes. Yes, you are.
That's a lie. Anger is a human emotion and everyone has it. So if you use that anger as a way to go, oh my God, wait, Marla said that if the next time anger arises, to say that person or those people might be right. They might be right. What if they are right? What if I'm not correct? What if they are right? What if my child is correct? What if the teacher is correct? What if my partner is correct? Why is it so hard for me to say you're right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is that so hard?
Yeah.
That's the place to go looking. Because if you really want harmony, you really want to have joy, you've got to be willing to soften your own rage lovingly, not by squashing it, by looking at the real truth. And when you look at the real truth, you'll see they are right. You'll see you're also right, but you've been so hard pushed to make sure you and your rightness and your righteousness is first and forward, that it annihilates everything else in its path. And that unconscious rage is pushing over your partner and all the people you love. And instead, if you go, you know what? I don't like what you're saying. It's not easy to hear. And you're probably right. And you know what? I'm going to take a look at it. I'm going to take a look at it. I need a little space. So I'm going to take a look.
Yeah.
That's loving. That's love.
It's power.
And that is power.
You're juicy. I love this. We could talk for another hour and a half. Like we could just do it. I mean, we could just keep going. I am so excited to look into this course personally. And I know a lot of my listeners will as well. Where can we find this? Where can we find you? Tell us how to get in touch.
Yeah, great. Well, the intimacyexperts.org is our website, and the course is on there. You can also go directly to playwithintimacy.com if you want to go directly to the website.
That's a fun one. Playwithintimacy.com. Yes.
That is where it lives. Yes. That's what it is. It's about playing with it. Yeah. You know, it doesn't have to be so freaking serious. You can
Guys,
be
don't we, and I'm saying this to everyone and myself, like, don't we all just want more play in our life? Like, don't we want more freedom? Like more play, more play, more play. Yes.
Yes. The lighthearted kind, you know, the kind of play that makes you feel like a natural smile emerges, you're giggling, you're feeling buoyant and light, not the kind of play that's distracting or is like, you know, gets in the way of getting your stuff accomplished. You know, you really, the kind of play that we teach is all about pleasure for both partners. Both partners get pleasure, you know, is so important. And then, you know, if anybody's interested in private work, that's a whole different ball game. If you are listening to this whole thing and you're saying, oh, I not only do I resonate with all this, I've been actively doing this kind of work, and you're really ready to take a look at your real dark side, then reach out privately, because private work with us is, it's something to experience. There's nowhere to hide. I'll say that too.
Look at that smirk. She's like, oh yeah, we go there. We
go everywhere. Yes, virtually.
thank you for being you. Thank you for incarnating. Thank you for shining your light so beautifully, and be willing to really, forage this path for couples, for ourselves, for our collective, for our children. Like, my listeners have heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. It's like, when we do this work, when we are willing to heal from the inside out, when we are willing to take full responsibility, we not only give permission for generations past, for generations future, and for our kids to really pave a new path for them, we also do the work for generations past. We are literally healing our lineage and freeing our mothers and grandmothers, and we are setting them free by being willing to go there and feel both our rage and our joy, and feel the darkness and the light. So thank you for being you. This was so good. I look forward to just getting to know you more, for connecting when we do in LA. Yumminess all around. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. What a total joy. This is amazing.
Have a beautiful day, Marla. Bye.